This was an entire collection of horizon belief-shattering facts that were a direct attack upon the very basic system that supported the post office. All of these coming one after another, bang, 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 attacking the horizon system. By the end of 2013, you can have been in no doubt, Ms. Vennells, that the horizon system needed investigation, needed inquiry, needed a deep investigation and review. Do you agree, Ms. Vennells?
Mr. Stein, I wish we had done that. I absolutely wish we had done that. I still had confidence in the horizon system from, as the inquiries heard, the fact that it was working for the majority of people. I had not understood, I did not have the detail that I have today, and had I had that, my view would have been very, very different.
You've said today that your style was to, it was not your style to keep in with people in terms of asking questions. You said to Mr. Henry, I fired questions in a very straightforward way. What we don't see, Ms. Vennells, is evidence that you fired questions in any way at all at those people that you would expect to be asking questions of. We don't see emails saying, I demand answers, I need them now. What on earth has been going on with this system? We don't see those emails, Ms. Vennells. Why not?
I had conversations, as the inquiry seemed, with the chief executive of Fujitsu. I spoke frequently with the CIO. She and her predecessor were involved whenever issues came up with the Horizon system. When the letters came in from MPs and members of the public raising issues around the Horizon system, the experts were consulted and the answers were taken from them. Questions were asked all of the time. Whether I asked the right questions, whether I was given the right answers, I think is now a matter for the inquiry to look at. And
so which is it, Ms. Vennells? I agree with the chair, and I apologise if I've interrupted you, but which is it, Ms. Vennells?
I'm sorry,
which is it, Ms. Vennells? You either didn't want to look under the rocks because you didn't dare see what was under there, or you didn't ask the right, deep-rooted questions. Which is it, Ms. Vennells? Go for one or the other. There's got to be one.
I believed that I was asking the right questions. I wasn't an IT expert. I may not have asked the right questions, but I never once held back from asking if I was unsure about something. Perhaps if I didn't have the technical expertise, I wasn't asking the correct questions. But and I've said this a number of times, I trusted individuals with whom I worked. I trusted that the audits that we've talked about seemed to confirm that the system was working as it should, that there were risks around privileged access, that I accept. But at no point did I have any information that would have pointed me to something I knew nothing about.
Ms. Vennells, you're not stupid. You studied French, Russian, business as a degree. You then worked for well-known companies in the UK, Whitbread, Argos, others. You rose through the ranks at the post office to become its CEO. You were pushing forward under network transformation. You've been quoted as saying that you want and you see a future of the post office opening up more branches, 30,000 branches in the future. That was you, Ms. Vennells, at the time. A vision you were expressing to everyone that asked about what you could see for the future. Yet here, all of these facts were adding up to there being a real problem, a really difficult problem to chew over, right the way through 2013. You failed, didn't you? You failed to get into this on your account. You failed to ask the right questions. You couldn't be bothered, could you, Ms. Vennells? The risk was too great. Looking under that rock, you're going to find a problem. It's going to devastate the post office, ruin it. You couldn't let that happen, could you, Ms. Vennells?
I loved the post office. I gave it... I worked as hard as I possibly could to deliver the best post office for the UK. It would have been wonderful to have 30,000 post office branches. That would have been the best outcome ever, to have had more post offices in more communities. What I failed to do, and I have made this clear previously, is I did not recognise and it's been discussed across the inquiry, the imbalance of power between the institution and the individual, and I let these people down. I am very aware of that, and we should have had better governance in place. We should have had better data reporting in place that meant that we could see what was happening to individual postmasters and to the system. That was not the case. At no time did I put the post office over the cases that were brought forwards. I worked as hard as I could and to the best of my ability, and I am very sorry that I was not able to find out what the inquiry has found out. I don't know today how much wasn't told to me. I do know information that I didn't get, and I don't know in some cases why it didn't reach me. But my only motivation was for the best for the post office and for the hundreds of postmasters that I met. And I regret deeply that I let these people down.
Ms. Vennells, that's absolute rubbish, isn't it? Under your leadership, with your sidekick, Mrs. van der Boogaard, you took on the Glow litigants in the High Court, fighting tooth and nail, allowing counsel on behalf of the Post Office to cross-examine the litigants on the basis that the losses were their fault due to their incompetence or dishonesty. That's what happened under your leadership. Ms. Vennells, that's what you allowed to happen under your leadership. This wasn't thinking, hang on, there might just be a problem with the system. I'd better be careful. This was tooth and nail, fight for the Post Office, wasn't it, Ms. Vennells?
And Mr. Stein, my ambition was that every case in that scheme was looked at, and the inquiry has heard, and I was disappointed when Angela van der Boogaard gave her evidence that she didn't talk more about that, because one of the consistent piece of feedback we had on the investigations in these cases is, and the inquiry heard it from Patrick Bork as well, is that they were looked at in every detail, they were re-examined, the system was apparently considered. I don't know why it was the case that the issues that were there were not found in those cases, but that was the ambition at the time.